Hello, David Takitaki here again. And one of the things that I hear most commonly on the campaign trail are questions about jobs, questions about our economy, and questions about what I can do to make Michigan's economy, Muskegon's economy, thrive once again. And as much as we wish there was a simple solution, a one-shot answer to these problems, they're a great deal more complex than that, and they require complex solutions. Fortunately, I think I'm in a position to design exactly the kind of complex solution that Muskegon and Michigan need. To begin with, we have to address our industrial capacity. I'm talking about factory jobs. I'm talking about blue-collar employment for working Americans. And we're not going to be able to properly address those issues until we understand the realities of the international business scheme. I'm not going to bore you with details, but it was obvious for many, many years that we had a huge advantage. We were light years ahead of people when it came to technology and productivity. And it's not that America has faltered, it's just that the rest of the world is catching up. What it takes to produce a manufactured good here in the United States is oftentimes many times more than what that takes to produce that same manufactured good overseas. And it's not because Americans do things differently. It's because we have a much higher standard of living in this country. And paying an American a living wage is going to cost 5, maybe 10 times more than paying a living wage to someone in another country. So for our manufacturing base to remain competitive, for us to avoid the outsourcing of jobs that has been such a huge problem for businesses and industries in Michigan, we have to gain speed. And what I'm talking about is adaptability. We need to be able to see where the manufacturing trends are going, and we need to be the first ones with goods to market. We need to have skilled laborers in this community who are under a constant growth process so that they are always ready for the next thing down the line. And that's going to require cooperation between corporations, government, and educational institutions in order to make that happen. But I think that if we can do this, if we can seize upon the momentum and the possibility that exists in a workforce like the one in the 92nd District, we can put Michigan back to work. Of course, those programs, those cooperative efforts, those educational institutions don't just fall out of the sky. They have to be paid for. And when we look at the tax structure of the state of Michigan, we see that it's antiquated. It is desperately in need of modification, modernization, and, in many people might consider, made more fair and more efficient. If we take something like the Michigan business tax, no business in this state would shirk its responsibility to the community. But something like the Michigan business tax surcharge artificially inflates what businesses have to pay. And so we have to revisit something along those lines. In addition, there's a tax on receipts that specifically penalizes those businesses that do a lot of trade but only make a little bit on each item. Those are problems. Those are things that we have to address in order to attract businesses to Michigan and in order to help the businesses that are in Michigan stay. Many people have proposed a sales tax on services, which would be to the detriment of people like realtors and accountants and other businesses who are already seeing a significant decrease in their total gross. What I would look for, instead of a blanket sales tax on services, would be something along the lines of a profits tax on services, so that those businesses, specifically small businesses who provide services, would never be affected. But those larger firms that do provide services pay a fair amount into the continuing prosperity of our state. Because once again, really, that is my core philosophy. None of us would make a great deal of money alone in the woods with no one around. The wealth, the richness, the luxury that we are afforded in this country, we are afforded because we are part of a system. And those people who gain the most from the system, those people who extract the most from the system in terms of wealth and dollars, really do owe the most to its maintenance. That's fair. That's not penalizing success. That's simply asking those who benefit the most from the hard work and the prosperity of other people to make sure those people still have the opportunity to be prosperous and to work hard. For that reason, I would look at addressing some of our funding deficits in this state, not by passing a tax that could be passed on to consumers, but by moving us towards a graduated income tax in the state of Michigan. This again makes sure that those who are at the top of the spectrum pay a fair share towards the maintenance and the success of this state, and alleviates the burden on working people. Because without working people, there aren't factories. Without factories, there aren't businesses. Without businesses, no one gets rich. The truth is, we're all in this together. And only together, with smart practices, smart plans, and smart leaders, can we get to that brighter day that I'm talking about for Muskegon, the 92nd District, and all of Michigan. I hope you'll listen to some of the things that I say here on this YouTube channel. I hope you'll go to my website at www.davidtakitaki.com for more of my ideas. And lastly, I hope on August 3rd you'll choose me to be the next representative from the 92nd District. Think big, and thanks for watching.
One line.